Solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
You're listening to Paco Radio, brought to you by Senol on FNR, Football Nation Radio. Welcome along to Paco Radio. My name is Josh Parrish. I've got the club president, Lou Tona, and the new senior head coach, Shane Rexhepi, in the studio. It's a post-season edition looking ahead to 2024. Gentlemen, welcome to the FNR studio once again.
Yeah, thanks for having us here, Josh.
No, it's an absolute pleasure, guys. Reflections on last year, some of the learnings that came out of that.
Yeah, well, I learned my hair's gotten a lot greyer, so that's probably where it started. But you know, they say football is a cruel game sometimes, and you know we definitely felt the brunt of that last year. It's fine. Everyone was there, was trying to give the commitment. The planning was there. Every decision that was made or every ball that was kicked, we'd like to believe that it was done in the best interest of trying to keep the club where it duly deserves to be. We believe we still believe that we are an NPL 1 club. We believe we do operate, off the park as an NPL 1 club, and that's where we want to get back to. And it's a bit of a journey we're starting now with Rexy, Shane here, and we're pretty excited. There's a lot of exciting things happening. We've got to draw the line in the sand with the year that's just been, and we're really excited about what the future holds, and I mean that sincerely because, there's been a lot of change at the club. We're starting to make a few new changes. We've got a brand new coaching staff with Shane. We're connected through a mutual, our first interview. We grew together in the interview process, and we went through a pretty grueling process, and we landed with Shane. So we're pretty excited about that. A young, enthusiastic coach, got a pretty good reputation in Victorian football. He's going to bring his coaching staff on board. So we believe we've set that up quite well. Now we're just going to get the players. We'll start building a team, a fresh new team. Hopefully we can keep some of our other players. We'll be talking to our current players and all that. So we've got some really exciting things. We've also just put on a technical director that started with us, young Igor Serbanovsky. He's another great addition to the club. He fits the profile of what we wanted with our TD. He's young, he's enthusiastic, he's a great communicator. He's got all the badges and what have you. And he's already hit the ground running, and we're pretty excited about that. We've got a really good coaching lineup in our NPL juniors, which will start getting announced very soon. We've got our mini roos was at the record numbers this year. I think we grew to about 23, 24 teams in our boys mini roos. We had about 6-7 girls, female teams, which that's been pretty strong. We've just put on a female subcommittee, so we've given our women's football, because we sometimes we don't want them to feel neglected, so we've put on a female subcommittee that will be liaison officers and champions for the women's game at our club. But the big kahuna above all that is that our master plan is getting delivered, and the bulldozers are there. The grounds have gotten ripped up. The extension to the clubroom has been is getting built. We're going to have 2 premium pitches at Hoskin Reserve. It's been a 13, 14-year process. Josh, it's really, we had a turf war in the middle of all that. We had a grant awarded, and it was changed, and it was a master plan refresh. So we're really, that's something that we realise that, and the club can leave a legacy for the game, obviously with, a big thank you to Marybeck City Council, but that's something we've really worked for, to leave a legacy for people in the future, that they can come to the club and have a facility that they're really proud of. It's a master plan. It's going to be in the vicinity of $7 or $9 million spent at Hoskin Reserve. It was a reserve that needed attention. For us, we love it. It's our, it is our spiritual home. It is our home base. But we're pretty excited. That's coming after. As COVID. We feel we got really affected by COVID. We had teams after COVID that were really challenging for titles, and the season got stopped a couple of times. Last year we just finished 3rd. So we needed something to go our way. We had a turf war in the middle of COVID. We renovated the facility with the club spent $200,000 of its own money to renovate the facility. So we've done a lot of work. We're just looking forward to this new fresh start, and we drew a line in the sand in a lot of departments at the club, and we're pretty excited where the future's going to go. So, I've personally got a renewed energy myself. What happened this season has really football does that. Has really kicked me up the backside, and I'm really looking forward. And I think I've always been hungry, but. Don't look at my weight or anything like that, but I actually I'm hungrier than I've ever been. So I'm pretty excited, working with a brand new coaching staff, really freshening the joint up, with a new TD, with a new female football department, with a brand new facility on the horizon. We've got some really exciting things happening, So that's where our focus has now shifted to, and we're not going to be, we've got a massive appetite to get Paco back up to the top.
Well, that's a great overview. I'm keen to delve into each one of those areas in detail over the course of the show. But I want to bring Shane into the conversation. Welcome to Paco,
Thank you very
mate.
much, mate. Great to be here.
I want you to give a little intro on yourself if you can. I know a lot of people will be familiar with your exploits as a player and some of your early coaching experience as well. Tell us about your football journey.
Yeah, definitely no stranger to Victorian football, I guess. Been a part of it for the last 20 years, 36 now, and, started my VPL career back as an 18-year-old playing at Richmond under Phil Stubbins, and the journey pretty much started from there for me. I fell in love with Victorian football and what I had to give. I made a lot of friendships and great friendships, and like family now. It's been a great journey as a player. Obviously, finding this transition to as a coach is something that I've always wanted to do. But you live and you learn. I guess as a player, I've enjoyed every single moment, and I've retired, but come out of retirement a few times as well. I just have that itch. It never goes away. It's always that part of you. I started obviously my playing career at Richmond and moved towards to Dandenong Thunder, which I had a really good 5 years there. Obviously, won titles and whatnot, and from there moved to Hume City as a player in 2014. Had some really good FFA Cup runs there. Made some really good friends, really good connections at that club, and then pretty much ended my career at North Sunshine. That was the old stomping ground for me, pretty much where I started my playing career as a 13-year-old kid. Went back there and was part of some history getting the club to NPL, and they're doing absolutely brilliant right now. Then went into coaching. I didn't find the love of playing anymore in COVID. I lost motivation. Nick Hegarty obviously called me to come and be his assistant coach at Hume, which was a great experience working under Hegs. Everyone knows his football brain and how good he is as a person, but also in the football game. He's been in Melbourne Victorian football for almost 10 years, and he's made such a big name for himself, and stats show themselves on and off the field. 2022 was an interesting year. Started the season as an assistant coach at Hume. Had to get out of retirement again, and as a 35-year-old to play NPL football, top flight football, which I never thought I would do at 35 years old. To be honest, it was probably one of the best years of my career. Pushed myself, challenged myself. I didn't think I would get there. But I had the right people around me and the right coaching staff. The club were awesome. Ended up being a up and down year. We're in relegation battle, obviously, and got the club, helped get the club out of relegation. It was like winning a trophy. You know, it's an amazing feeling. Had a year off last year. You know, I needed that break, which I tried to have a year off, but I didn't. I ended up still playing, just with a few friends in Dandenong South, which was really good. Like it's hard to stay away from the game, you know. But I knew 2024 was definitely going to be a start of my coaching journey, and obviously when Pascaval's job came up available, I wanted to, you know, give it everything I had, and I'm so glad I went through the interview process and the tender process of being a coach. You know, I honestly thought that my first coaching gig would probably be at a club that I've played for and, you know, made a name for myself, where they know who I am and know what I can do, and like give me the opportunity. But I've done it the hard way. You know, like obviously I've known Lou, but we've never had a, you know, like a close relationship, just knowing from playing against Paco. And then, we had the obviously interview process, and it was a good few weeks there, and it made me more hungrier to get the job. And obviously once that handshake was offered, and I jumped on it straight away, and I'm really, really looking forward to 2024 and beyond.
Well, I'm sure, you know, you'll still be fielding calls for quite some time with clubs trying to drag you out of retirement. But you're definitely done now.
Look, I don't know, Lou.
No.
keep him as a registration.
Hey, I'd love to have signed him as a player, but, you know, on the message on the WhatsApp, so Rexy, forget you're a player, mate.
Yeah, look, I'm looking for a centre-back. If I can't find one, I might have to...
Yeah, no, it's all right. You're coaching. But no, look, and it was a process that we went through with Rexy, and you know, people ask me, well, where did you pull that one out of, you know? But for me, he's got infectious character. He's infectious, and I think, you know, the way the world is changing with these younger players coming through, it's a character that, you know, he's also from, you know, he's grown up in the old. He's also grown up in the new school, so it's pretty exciting there. And his you know, his vision for the football club is one that definitely aligned with our own, and that's it. And you know, we you know, as a club, we're going to try our absolute best to push for promotion, and that's what we're going to try and do. We know that's no success. We've seen it. You know, but that's our ambition, and you know, just want to assure that the Paco members out there and the supporters that, you know, as a club, we're not resting on our laurels, and we want to get the club back up to where we believe it deserves to be.
I wanted to dig into something you said before, Rexy, about sort of going the harder route to get the gig, and, you know, as opposed to, you know, being a kind of member of the community or someone that is well known already at a Hume or a North Sunshine or Dandenong Thunder. Does that make it a little bit more satisfying to sort of get it almost on merit?
Yeah, it definitely does. And like, it just gives me that extra motivation, obviously, to do well, because I've had to earn it at the end of the day. So, and I guess that's the message I'll give to my players in the team, that, you know, nothing is given to you. Everything, you have to work hard for everything. And I did that as you know, to get the job, and, you know, hasn't even started yet for me. Like, there's so much more hard work that I need to do and willing to do, and I can't wait to do. So yeah, that definitely is something that, you know, I will cherish, and obviously, you know, definitely thank Lou and the Paco board for the opportunity.
Do you have a particular kind of philosophy of football or style of play or principles that you're wanting to bring into this job? Do you have a vision in mind, or are you going to let the kind of playing group that you assemble dictate the style?
Look, I definitely do have my philosophies that I want to bring into the side and into my team, into my changing room, and that's just sometimes just going back a little bit old school and just good old hard work. And you know, I think we lost that a little bit in Victorian football. In football in general, it's gone really tactical and technical, and I love that. But I definitely will be doing that. I'm not saying I'm just going to go out and be an old school coach. I love that side, but I think I want to have a good balance in, you know, good old fashioned hard work, training hard, doing the hard yards in pre-season especially, and in the season, but also having that balance of being a good football team, playing right, and just having a winning mentality and a winning game style. That's the main thing. Everyone has their game styles of, we want to play this and play out of the back. I just want to win. And so we will do the absolute best we can with the players on the park to win every game we play.
What about in terms of, going for a more experienced squad, bringing younger players through?
Yeah.
I guess, where do you land on that kind of mix?
Experience is very important, and I learnt that as an experienced player. Being in my 30s, the younger players do need experienced players, and as a young player, I'll never forget the experienced players that I had in my team, and I'll cherish those forever. And as an experienced player, I definitely helped a lot of young players. So that's very, very important. You can't just go out there with a young team, and you can't go out there with a full experienced team as well, because young blood is so important to a team, and it builds the culture, and it gives us obviously 5, 6, hopefully 7 years in players in the team. So there will definitely be a balance, we are obviously Pascoe Vale do have some really good experienced players at the moment. That's been like Adrian Taylor-Rick has been at the club for a very long time, captain of the club, legend of the club, and I do want to bring a few more of those players into the mix. But I especially want to see a lot of young players grow as well. Pascoe Vale's got a really young squad at the moment. Their average is probably about 23, 24 years old. So that's amazing. So that's something that we can build on, and hopefully build a team that can stay together for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And that aligns with what we wanted when we went through this process. Yeah, we definitely don't want a retirement village. That's not what we're looking for. We have got a lot of good young players. We had them at our...
And Paco's always had a strong youth focus.
Yeah, and we had about 6 of them at our team dinner last week, where that we're bringing on board, that we're going to bring on the journey from our under-21s to try and do a pre-season and try and impress Shane, you know what I mean? And today we're talking to a player, we're trying to sign, he's 22 years old. So we want that balance. But, it is important, and we agree wholeheartedly with what Shane's saying here. It's important. We want to get back up the ranks, and that's our appetite.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess success these days isn't, doesn't happen in a year or a day. So we want to have, obviously build a team that, we can have together on this journey, like Lou says, and obviously the end goal for us is to get back into NPL1, and it's not going to happen overnight. So there's a lot of hard work ahead, but we want to make sure that we build a team that we can carry on from league to league and can still be together. That's the main thing here.
Yeah. It's a good point. And today, I was not bringing up Zocchi, but today I was speaking to Zocchi Markowski, and he's extremely successful this year at Avondale, and it's a club that doesn't traditionally have a big name and what have you, but they've been on a journey, and if you have a look at their journey, Stefan Zini signed with them 4 years ago, but Stefan Zini's now at the peak of his powers. From 22 years old, whenever he joined a 20-year-old, he's now at the peak of his powers, at 25, 26, and that's the balance we're looking for.
Yeah. And you got players like Yite Towns who's come up divisions with them, and
yeah, exactly right. They've had that team together for a very long time, and it showed on this year definitely. And that grand final was just something special to watch. As an outsider, it was just obviously congratulations to Avondale, but just as a neutral watching a game, it was just unbelievable. And you just see that bond that players have played together for such a long time, and it just flows. Everything just flows. The rhythm was just so unbeatable, and that's what we want to build. I'm not here to flip 10 players every year or every transfer window. I want to actually build a team and work hard with the team and believe in the team. And that's obviously the most important thing, because players want that belief from coaches as well. So if I can push my players and believe in my players and work with my players, I'll get that back. And, that's just a start of success, I think.
You mentioned a couple of your role models there. You mentioned Phil Stubbins. Who are some of the coaches and even experienced players that you play with over your career who've kind of influenced your journey, who you looked up to?
If I start with coaches, obviously Phil Stubbins gave me my first ever VPL start. He plucked me out from the under-21s and he said, "You're with me, son." And that just those words just gives you that lift, and just him having the faith in me just got a lot out of me. Obviously, then he went to Adelaide United and obviously done really well in his coaching career. Stuart Munro is probably one of my biggest, role models as a coach. He was just always there for me. I spent 5 years under Stuart as a player, and when, half the battle these days is players playing for a coach. And if a player plays for a coach and believes in that, then a player could go a long way. Like it's so funny how that works. And Stuart just knows how to get the best out of players. And every single player that has a shirt, that wears a shirt and plays under Stuart, he's giving 100% for Stuart. Obviously, Chris Taylor had some really good years with Chris Taylor as well. We won obviously the treble at Dandenong Thunder in 2012, and something that hasn't been done for a very long time, and I hope it won't happen for a very long time. CT is obviously still going. Is obviously doing really really well at Oakley as well, and obviously done really well at South Melbourne. And then, look, every coach I have, like even you go to, Ben Isai, who's the North Sunshine coach now. He's a young, eager coach. He's doing really well at North Sunshine. He's taken, that club to a next level. Nick Hegarty, a young, exciting coach. I think every coach that I have, I actually listen and I actually learn something and I take it in. And because I've always wanted to be coach. So I even from the start, I knew where my journey was going to be when it ended as a player. And I was always going to get into coaching. So I soaked as much as I could in from these guys. And now it's just me putting my own spin on it and doing my own thing. And then, seeing how I go. So,
and I guess what's the attraction of the Paco job to you as your first foray as a senior coach?
Paco ticked a lot of my boxes when the job came up. So obviously when me and Lou spoke, it was just one of those things that I wanted it, and when I want something, I'll try my absolute best for it. And I think in my interviews, I didn't let anything go. I just gave it everything I could. But they're a club that has that culture, that Paco culture. I hated playing against Pascoe Vale as a player. I hated it. And I'm not joking. Going to Hoskin, being in that environment, just big crowd that's always against you, and that playing group, they were just so gelled together. I just thought, mate, I hate playing against this club. And that's what I love. I love that culture, and I love that energy, and I love that buzz around a club, and Pascoe Vale had it. Obviously, they've lost it over the last couple of years. It is what it is now. But having that challenge of bringing that back to Pascoe Vale was, again, something that really attracted to me and appealed to me. And it's going to be a challenge. And I love challenges, and this is why I'm doing this. I don't have to coach. I've got a beautiful wife and 3 beautiful kids at home that I can stay home if I want to. But these kinds of things, it drives me to, succeed and do really well. And Paco's definitely, if I had to tick all my boxes as a first-time coach, and Sleeping Giant, Sleeping Giant that are nowhere near where they should be, to get them back up to where they should be, I'm all for it, and I absolutely can't wait for it.
And if I can just add to that, Josh, that's our reference point. That Paco DNA, that culture that we had, that everyone wanted to be united in that fight, whatever it was, that's our reference point. And Rexy ticked a lot of those boxes. So that's where we ended up.
Well, I think there's a pretty good time to take a short break. And on the other side, we've got plenty to talk about in terms of the women's side and the infrastructure upgrades. So we'll take a short break here on Paco Radio and be back very soon. Don't go anywhere.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Long throw, goalkeeper's come, hasn't got there. Harry Kewell, and then poked on by Tim Cahill. Australia have done it!
listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
You're listening to Paco Radio, brought to you by Senol on FNR, Football Nation Radio. And we're back live from the FNR studio. It is Paco Radio. I'm Josh Parrish. I've got Lou Tona and Shane Rexhepi in the studio with me. Lou, I want to dig into the master plan that's finally been approved. Yep. Rewind for anyone who hasn't been across it. What is this going to enable the club to do?
Well, I can tell you about grass. I know a lot about grass after this master plan and politics. Politics is something I've really learnt from this master plan, but I really appreciative of Marybeck Council for fully endorsing the master plan. What's this going to mean for the club? Well, I like to think what it means for a 10, 11-year-old at the club, and football's become a very transient type of game in Victorian football, and it shits me up the wall. Rexy was just talking about that culture. They were together. They didn't want to leave. At the time, I can mention a player, Dave Van Skip. Everyone was ringing him every week. It wouldn't go, and that's what we want to create at our club. So for me, what it is, it's a 10-year-old that now comes there and is going to play on a premium pitch that's not always muddy. That's got good drainage. He's going to be proud of that venue, him or her, and their ambition is going to be at that club as a player, as a spectator, or as an administrator. If they're not, that doesn't occur for these people for whatever reason, they will be there 10, 15 years later playing senior football somewhere, whether it's State League 5, whether it's A-League, or whatever it is. We want people to fall in love with the game. So when you turn up to Hoskin Reserve, we want it to be a football environment that everybody can come there and fall in love with the game. And I think that's what the legacy that we would like to leave for the community. Sure. And that's because that facility will be there, but way before I'm gone. So, Josh, it was a facility that 15 years ago, when we embarked on this journey, there was a soccer club there with two teams, 17 years ago, 18 years ago, I think it was, with a cricket club at the back, seasonal, an AFL club at the back, seasonal, a cricket nets next to us getting used, balls getting hit into our ground there, a tennis club it's been fully enclosed. So it wasn't a super inviting type of environment. 19 years later, the cricket club and the footy club are prospering at another venue. We've now got 2.5 fields there. It's an oval-shaped ground. Now it's going to be a rectangular-shaped ground with a fence around it, with brand new lighting, with dugouts on the outside. A player, a young player is going to go out there feeling like they're going to feel special. Community sport is something that I think the Matildas have really done a great job in re-engaging Australians with sport. I felt we were losing that a lot, especially after COVID. I remember when I was growing up, if Australia was playing in the Olympics in table tennis, I'd get up and watch it. Sure. Whereas I think we've lost a lot of that. So, that's what these hubs, like Hoskin, like a lot of clubs, that's what they do. Hoskin Reserve, for me, is not just a soccer field or a soccer club or a club that plays NPL football. That's not what it is. It's where my uncles and people from from the village where the club started, from overseas, came there and formed an alliance, formed the community. When someone would fly in from overseas on a Friday night, come in from overseas, we just migrated to Australia in the 80s or 70s, whatever it was, and the next day they'll have somewhere to go and watch a game with their people that they could connect with, as part of their community, and then on the Monday they'll have someone there that'll do all the immigration paperwork for them. So soccer clubs.
It's a community hub.
Soccer clubs are community hubs, or sports clubs are community hubs for all that. And I think Hoskin Reserve is just going to be able to deliver that best-in-class experience. And I think, a lot of people ask me, what nationality is the club? Like, you couldn't tell because we're proud of where we've come from, but we'd like to think that whether you're you saw with Hakim how we fought, for this Muslim refugee, that no one knew. Did he really bomb people to a point where, in our committee, we've got the most diverse committee going around. We've got people from all backgrounds. We don't care who you are, where you're from. And I think that is our primary focus on Hoskin Reserve. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a place that everyone comes there, feels safe. It's premium for them. They feel great. They feel it's something they're proud of, and they love being there. So that's what we want to deliver for the community.
Yeah, and so it's just that sense of belonging. It's like different to being like a seasonal tenant on a ground that's not set up for you.
That's right.
That you're a makeshift entity and you don't really belong there versus having a home, permanent home. That makes, such a huge difference for people. I always found when I was playing the challenge for the small club that I was at to kind of create, for the club to go from strength to strength was not to, sign players for the first team. It was to get people to stick around and watch and to have like a sense of community around the venue that was, that was the hard part because it wasn't a welcoming or a nice place to be and to hang out on a weekend.
Yeah.
And I think everyone needs that third place. As you mentioned, COVID, we've been coming out of this lockdown where we couldn't go anywhere and everyone's just even coming out of it, just work home. And I think everyone needs that third place of community to come together.
Well, people don't even go to work anymore. They work from home.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think that everyone's lost that connection. And I think, and Hoskin Reserve isn't just about the football pitches. It's also about what it's delivering to the community, right? So it's got a playground there. It's going to get another playground there. It's going to get, the park that was on the side that we use quite heavily. It was no longer going to belong to the soccer club, which, it was a deal that was done with councils and what have you. It's for the recreation. So there'll be people playing there. There'll be people playing tennis there. There'll be an active recreation zone where someone can come and do a half-court basketball, a Ninja Warrior pre-season
Absolutely.
training. So Ninja Warrior area, you can have a barbecue at the place and you can watch some football. And then there's walking tracks that are getting done around it. They're redirecting the entrance to accommodate the residents a bit more. So there are some unbelievable signs. So it's going to be a great hub. It's going to be a massive lift for the area. And I've been working on this for 13, 14 years. Probably it's what's kept me going for so long. But we're at the precipice of it getting delivered.
Yeah, and the plan is to continue playing senior games at CB Smith. Is that the case?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, CB Smith is a premier facility. If we want to be a premier club in Moreland, Marybeck, we need to be tenants of CB Smith. But, if there's some FFA Cup games or FA Cup games, whatever they're called now, Australia Cup, or, if there's a bit of congestion at CB Smith, which we know happens quite a fair bit, and if there's a few games we can play there, it's not a problem. We are getting 200 lux lighting. We are building a spectator terracing. We've already, the club's purchased the seats for that. We've got the 300 tiered seating, like George Cross got that aluminium seating. Sure. There's some a shade sail that's going to go on top of the side of the ground. We're getting a new electronic scoreboard. We've got 5 change rooms there already. We've got an upgraded cafe area. We've got a new entrance that's just been built and new storerooms and what have you to beautify the place. It's going to have brand new car park, new lighting in the car park. So if we want to play games there, it won't be a problem either.
That's fantastic. I mean, talk about the fixture congestion at CB Smith. Everyone wants to play there, or sometimes some people have to play there because I think they have to. I think they have to play there. I don't think everyone wants to play there because it's not an easy. I mean, we've been doing it from day one. It's a bump in, bump out situation, Josh. Yep.
It's like now you've got to pack up all these microphones, put them away in the next club. So it's not an easy situation. But as a player, they don't care about that. They go there, they see a facility, there's a grandstand there, there's 300-400 people in the stand. CB Smith is also getting the light tower removed from the middle there.
That is music to my ears as a commentator.
Yeah. So they're getting there's 4 new LED, and I have to really give a big shout out to Marybeck Council. They are great supporters of football. Brunswick City's just gotten an upgrade to their lighting at Dunstan Reserve.
Fantastic.
Yeah, when our ground gets fixed, we're going to have 200 lux LED lighting at Hoskin. They've renovated these grounds. They renovated Moreland City's ground 3 or 4 years ago. They renovated Brunswick City's ground 3 or 4 years ago. They renovated, Desheen Reserve, Brunswick, Ulvez ground back in the day, 7, 8 years ago when they came to the municipality. They've just done an upgrade to Brunswick Zebras, change rooms. So they're really investing in our game, and we have to be really, really appreciative, and they're great partners.
I mean, that light tower is like been the running meme in Victorian football for some time, I think.
I think everybody's going to miss it. It's going to be nothing to talk about. The culture of the place is going to go.
Look, I don't want to criticise, but I think you missed a trick in not having ad space on that light pole for this entire tenure.
Yeah. We should have something running up and down.
A vertical billboard. I think you could have made a killing.
Exactly.
I mean, Shane, coming into a club that's got all these planned infrastructure upgrades, I mean, that's got to be another part of the draw, right?
It's definitely, I've definitely come to the club at the right time.
Yeah.
But look, in saying that, every player wants to play professionally, and I wanted to play professionally, and I never did. But when you have something that's so close to being professional in facilities, like when I played at Hume City, it was just a different level. And I see Pascoe Vale in the same category now. Once Hoskins, the upgrade's done, and the change rooms already are amazing, and the club room's really, really good. And when we get 2 state-of-the-art pitches where players can come and want to train, and you got Jim Tona and Vasco at the club there that I've got to give them a shout out. They work endlessly at the club, and they'll wash the kits for the players, and they'll do all the little stuff for the players that players really appreciate and want to be a part of. And you got all these things that the clubs are doing right, that Pascoe Vale is doing right, and to have the facilities as well. It's just it's definitely going to attract players. And again, like me and Lou keep talking, like we want to build this beautiful garden. It's our little saying. It's our little vibe, our little saying that we want to build a beautiful garden. At Pascoe Vale, everyone loves a beautiful garden. And everyone wants to come to a beautiful garden. So we're getting there. We will build this garden, and the facility upgrades part of it. We're going to have players that right now where it's. I walk into a changing room of a team that just got relegated, so the vibes are really down. Players don't know where their heads are at. Players want to leave. Players don't know if they want to stay. That's fine. It is what it is. That's football, But I believe this time next year, once we have those facilities and everything up and running, and we have a really good team and a really good culture, and obviously, an unstoppable environment, players just want to come and players don't want to leave, and that's what Lou was saying before. So these facilities are a massive tick, obviously, in that part, and I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. It's obviously it is a little bit. It is what it is. The fact that we won't be using it for pre-season, that's life. That's something that we have to sacrifice, and it's no problem at all. But once we get onto that ground, hopefully it's sooner rather than later. It's just having happy vibes and smiles on faces is so important in football. And when you get Jim and Vasco putting your clothes out for your training, and your boots are there and everything's there, and you're walking out onto a pitch that is carpet. What more do you want as a player, And obviously, it's the platform. We want to give the players the platform to perform, and that's just one part of it. And obviously, the football part of it, which is my side of my coaching staff, that's the other side of it as well.
Yeah, and I like, Shane looks very youthful at the moment. Now I think he's going to get thrown into the thrust of senior coaching pretty quickly, and he has come at a time it is going to be great, but he's also come at a time where, although we're putting a leap of faith in him, he's also putting a leap of faith in us. It is his first head coaching role. He's coming in with, our grounds are torn up and what have you. There are all these things happening, but together we understand about this garden that we talk about.
Sure.
So we're digging the garden at the moment. We're going to hit a bit of rock along the way, what have you. I know it sounds all cliche, but we're not stopping. So
absolutely,
it's exciting. Hey, I talk about women's football. Our senior women's won the league in State League 3, and I just want to give a big shout out to these amazing, fantastic human beings, great girls. Shane talks about culture, and we're talking about culture and that never say die attitude. I'll tell you a bit about this female team that we had this year. So they had a coach at the start of the year that was there the year before. And unbeknown to us, the week of the season starting, I got a phone call saying he's moving on, right? So these girls are starting the season. So then we found another coach, and so these girls were winning games. So then we found another coach, right? And then this coach moved on, right? And these girls kept on winning games, right? So I thought, how bad can this year get, I didn't move the coaches on in this situation, but I thought, how bad can this year get? And these girls, I'll tell you what, they are just the most amazing bunch of human beings. And I think, I've got an appetite for women's football, but like the Matildas, they actually inspired me, these girls. And I just realised that if you have got that, and this is what we talk a lot about, and this is where we want to go back to where we were, if you've got a lot of that belief, togetherness, and what have you, it's an unstoppable formula. It's an unstoppable formula. If you have that drive, that the Hoskin Reserve Master Plan, I feel I've been tested so many times that just to walk away and just let it go. But we didn't stop because they had a drive and a desire about delivering something to the community. Those girls had a drive and a desire to make sure that no one could stop their bond, and no one was going to break them. And let me tell you, it was inspirational to see. So I had two ends of the spectrum. I had that situation, and then we had the situation with the senior team. But we're okay. We're all good with that. We understand exactly how football works. We've all been in the game a long time, Josh. And the Rexy, like I said, he's won championships, but he's also was in a relegation battle not long ago, come out of retirement. I must admit, when I heard that myself, I thought, Jesus Christ. Well, I thought he was finished.
If anyone can do it, mate, it's Rexy.
Hey, how many more gold watches do you want, mate? Retirement watches.
You mentioned the Matildas there. I mean, how is the club preparing for potential influx of junior girls?
Yeah. So as we said a couple of weeks ago, what we did is really trying to engage bring a lot more people on the journey. I think what happens sometimes when you're involved and you do things, you just get the job done. You think yourself, I don't need to bring anyone. I'll just do it myself. Or there's 3 or 4 people that are there. But we're really trying to. It's not that we're not transparent. We just really want to try and bring people on the journey. So we're putting a couple of things in place. We've put a steering group together to design and draw up a organisational structure for the club. It's in effect. When I had a chat with this steering group, they said who does this, and I'll be Athena or I've got Vinko or whoever's got in that head. He goes, but in effect, you're going to leave the club willless. You know what I mean? You need to have a will for the club. If one of us die or someone dies, I wouldn't go to that extreme. That it's running pretty good, but we want to put a structure in place where, Josh Parrish is there, wants to get involved in the club. He's a role, so we're really putting a really good organisational structure together. What we did realise through the whole thing, we had a gentleman, Owen Swift, who handled the women's football on his own pretty much. He'd come and report to the club, but he'd take full control of it and was running well. And you sort of forget it. You don't forget about it, but it's there. It's doing well. It doesn't bother.
But if all the kind of IP is wrapped up in one person, if that person leaves, then you're in trouble.
So what we've gone and done is we've employed a steering group, a couple of ladies that have joined on board. We want it to be a situation where it's not me that they have to that old fuddy-duddy old man. It'll be just a couple of lovely smiling parents that will be. There will be a reference point for them. Anytime they need something, they'll go for there, and I'll have an attention of the board.
Sure, fantastic.
Yeah.
And in terms of the next few months for you, Shane, what does it look like in terms of the timeline with pre-season, with checking in with players and where they're going to be next year? Obviously, you mentioned coming into a relegated team. There's a few players whose futures are up in the air, or they're wondering whether they're going to stick around in NPL 3.
Look, let's be honest. It's the silly season of Victorian football at the moment. Everyone's calling everyone. The players are hearing a lot of noise, and We're just obviously doing our best to keep whoever wants to stay at Pascoe Vale. So at the end of the day, we want Pascoe Vale players that want to be at Pascoe Vale. And I hope it's the majority of the boys, because I really want to keep a lot of those players. Like I said, they're young, they're full of energy. I feel like I can work with a lot of them and make them better players. In saying that, we're definitely looking at players, and we're bringing in players' experience where we need to. Obviously, we've got a plan, and our plan is to, give ourselves every opportunity to get promoted next year back into MPL2. So, the day I got the job, the next minute the job started. So, it's communicating with players, obviously that are at Pascoe Vale at the moment, hoping to get them all locked in as soon as possible. Obviously, trying to lock in new players, and then the pre-season schedule and everything like that starts. So pre-season will be starting mid to late November at this stage, and we'll be doing like a 12 to 14 week pre-season if our season starts that mid-March. At that time, we'll be working really hard with my coaching staff to put a good plan together to make sure that we're all fit and we're strong and we're fast, and we want to be the best at everything that we can control. So, if I can control the fitness and our strength and being, the fastest team in the league, I want to do that, and we will do that. So it will be a good plan that we are going to put together to make that happen. Once we start and get the ball rolling, it's just, hopefully everything works like clockwork, and we'll do our best to prepare, and we're going to do everything to prepare. And, there's a saying that a coach told me a long time ago, and it's failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So I'll make sure that everything I do, I'm prepared right, because, I'm not here to fail. I'm here to succeed, and, I'll do everything I can to make that happen.
And clearly there's, there's some ability there in that playing group. I know you had a bad season last year, but affected by injury.
Absolutely.
And then you rewind a year before and you're a few kicks away from promotion, really.
Well, we don't have an appetite to ask anyone to go. And look, we have locked in couple of players also, we've locked in a couple of new players, but that'll come in due course. He's hit the ground running, absolutely, and we're right behind him with that. Grass isn't always greener on the other side, but we and I'm sure Shane, he's been talking to some players. They don't know him, but everyone he's ranking, they don't really have a problem with the club. I think it's just a situation that occurred, but I think. But it's not just that. I mean, speaking to some of my other colleagues who are coaches at other clubs that didn't have the same battles that we had last year, I think they're finding it difficult at the moment to lock players in and all that. I don't think we're finding it super difficult. I think we've got plan A, plan B, plan C, so we're not really concerned about building a great team. We believe we're very confident we're going to build a very, very good team. But it is what it is. What we're going to build a team. We are just concentrating, like Shane eloquently said there before, on the controllables.
Sure.
And those controllables we know we're good at. He's got his, I've seen already the pre-season program. He's already locked in the dates. We've already got our Tasmania trip organised, right? All that type of stuff. So we're already working. Him and his coaching staff. They're just a young, enthusiastic bunch of coaches that really understand the opportunity that's been given to them, understand the challenge that's been given to them, and they've hit the ground running, mate, and it's driving me a little bit too. Shane's a builder by trade, he's a self-employed builder. And let me tell you, I don't think he has been doing much building the last 2-3 weeks.
Squad building.
My phone, I usually get about 100 phone calls a day just for work, and it's gone up to about 250 a day. So,
not all from Tona, boy.
Half.
Half.
I was going to say, what have you already learned about head coaching before even playing a game?
Yeah, it's I appreciate now coaches, a lot more than I did, because it's just, it's just interesting the way I've never had to call a whole playing group and get them to stay and speak to players about bringing them over and blah, blah, blah. So obviously that's the first part, you know what I mean? And I'm really enjoying that part and enjoying the challenge of, let's see.
The hustle
and selling my dream and selling the plan. And, at the end of the day, that's all I can do is just sell it. And if players want to, be a part of it, then amazing. If not, then I don't want to dwell on things too much. I want to just keep moving on, because at the end of the day, we got a job to do and we got to do it. So dwelling on it's not going to help. So that's the first thing obviously I've learned, and obviously there's going to be more to learn on the way. Let's put it out there. I'll be learning on the job. You know what I mean? But as Lou and the club to give me the opportunity as a first-time coach for a club that just got relegated into NPL 3 to get the job to get the club back up to NPL 2 and hopefully NPL 1. It was a big risk for the club, and I'm going to make sure I'll do everything I can to reward them and make sure it was a right choice.
Yeah. Is there an expected timeline in mind for? Are you expecting to bounce back up to NPL 2 in one go?
Josh, I think, if we're going to do this and we're going to sacrifice our life, because we don't do it for money, we don't do it for any of that stuff. If we're going to do this, we're going to give it a crack.
Sure.
And that's what we're going to do. The reason why we just don't flippantly say we're going to give it a crack and we're going to get promoted. No, that's not what we do. I mean, we believe we can be promoted any time we enter a season. We believe we could do it the year before. We believe we could do it when we were in the NPL 1. We believed in the NPL 2 we had 3 years of it, and COVID sort of stuffed up 2 of them, and last year we just missed out. It was a great year. We believe that we are prepared enough as a club to always challenge. The infrastructure around the team dinners on the Wednesday nights, the washing of the kits, the change room being clean, all that stuff. We believe we do that as good. The ball's being pumped to the specific temperature that these people want. I mean, it's just we believe that we've got all the attributes, the hunger and the desire around the team to be successful. I think we make it sometimes too comfortable for our players, but that's what we want. They're the standards we want. If Shane doesn't deliver those standards around the team, if we don't deliver those standards around the team, Shane can say to us, well, no, he's telling me like he wants to make a change to the coaching room now. No problems. We don't have you're asking for too much. That's the appetite we have to make sure that we are super successful.
And obviously the first thing is we want to obviously build, and that's the main thing, is build a team to make sure that we can challenge. So if it doesn't happen next year, it's going to happen the year after, or we want to make sure that we build that garden first before we look too ahead of ourselves. So.
Well, gentlemen, I think that's as good a place as any to leave it. If you have any concluding comments, please. But
no. I just want to say to the, thanks, Josh, and then thank you FNR and Rooster Senol from Senol for making sure that that this happens. An unbelievable supporter of the club and all our sponsors, but Rooster's a great supporter of football in Victoria, and we're lucky to have him on board. And I just want to tell the Paco faithful, don't worry about this. Don't worry about what's happening now. Worry about what's going to happen in the end. And this is not a journey that we just want to be one year. We want to get back up to the NPL 1 football, and that's our hunger and desire.
Well, plenty to look forward to in 2024.
Yep.
Lou, Shane, thanks for your time, guys, and best of luck next year.
Thanks, mate.
Josh. Thanks, mate.
Appreciate it.
We'll sign off for the year here on Paco Radio. Thank you for tuning in, and if you've missed any of tonight's show, you can catch up on the FNR Football Nation Radio podcast platform. Good night.